coming from the city of Varaždin, from Croatia, from southeastern Europe. I took the responsibilities of Croatia for Christ ministry almost 6 months ago. We're going to talk about that later. So I would like to start just with some geography for you, that maybe if you don't know where Croatia is right there on the Adriatic Sea between Italy and Hungary. So we are a very old land. Republic of Croatia looks a little bit weird. It looks like a horseshoe. The reason for that there are a lot of historical reasons for that, which we are not going into right now because we don't have time. I live up there in the north, in Varaždin. Here's Zagreb, our capital. If you open your Bibles in 2 Timothy, 4th chapter, verses 9 and 10, you can read a sentence where Paul is writing that letter to Timothy, and in the end of that sentence he's mentioning Titus go to Dalmatia. I don't know if you know that, but the southern part of Croatia is Dalmatia. So actually Croatia is a biblical land. And we are really proud of that. A little bit about myself. So this is my family. My wife, Alexandra, my older son, Lovro, and my younger son, Jakov. I have 2 sons. My older son, Lovro, is an autistic child, low-functioning autistic child. He doesn't speak, and I have to tell you that I learned a lot from him. My younger son, on the other hand, speaks all the time. So when you put them together, you have 2 average boys. This is what I call my fast life. So I took over responsibilities for Croatia for Christ ministry from April the 1st this year. Before that, I was working in Croatian army. I'm a professional musician. I have a degree at University of Zagreb in clarinet performance. So there was I defending my country with the clarinet. This is my wife. She works with me. She used to work with me. Sorry. She plays oboe. For you that don't know, oboe is a clarinet with a straw. One important thing that I have to mention here is that my wife outranks me. She's a captain, I'm a first lieutenant. So I have to salute her every time, when she's in uniform. This is our orchestra during the performance in Zagreb Concert Hall for last Christmas. So I just put some pictures so that you know about my work. This is my woodwind quintet. So I was playing also other musical chamber groups and other types of music, not only military. For example, this picture here is taken in a Catholic cathedral in Varaždin when we had performance with a choir and symphony orchestra, and I'm right there in the middle. But you have to, maybe you noticed that this picture was taken 30 pounds ago. When you're playing music, you have faithful followers who are following you for your performances. You probably will recognize this man. This is Mladen Jovanovic, and he was our preacher, he was our mentor, he was our dear brother in Christ, and he was also following my orchestra and my performances whenever he was able. So I'm really proud of him, and let me tell you just one thing. When this opportunity showed up for me to take over some of his responsibilities, it was really, it was big honor to me. Mladen Jovanovic was great preacher. He was not ordinary preacher. He was A class. And with his loss, we were really, confused, disoriented, and we didn't know exactly what to do. But after a year and a half, God provided what needs to be provided, and now I took over the responsibilities from Mladen. There are actually 4 of us doing his job. So this will tell you how successful he was. Croatia for Christ. This is the name of our ministry. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what we started with. This monument that you see here is Old Croatian Baptistry. It was made sometime between year 800 and 820. It's the most significant monument of Croatian, both national and Christian heritage. Everybody in Croatia knows that. We are learning that in schools. So, this is the replica of that old Croatian baptistry that's in the Zagreb church. That was Mladen Jovanovic's idea. And I think this is a great idea because every person that enters church knows exactly what it is. So that baptistry is a strong testimony because people start to ask questions, and that's what we want when people are in our church. In my church in Varaždin, which is 45 minutes north from Zagreb, we did the same thing. We don't want to change anything what's working. So I want you to keep in mind that hexagon-shaped Croatian baptistry, because we're talking about new visual logo of Croatia for Christ. This here is our national coat of arms. So on our national flag, you can see this symbol. And whenever our national team in soccer is playing, they have those t-shirts with those squares, red and white. It's very recognizable. So when you see a red and white squares together like a chest plate, it's Croatian symbol. So what we did, we put those 2 things together and built something that we call Croatia for Christ visual logo. Now you're going to see a short animation. It's like 23 seconds, okay? Which will explain to you why we have that maybe weird logo. Look and listen. It has music in the back. That's it. You like it? So we will put that in every activity, in everything that we will do in the future. We will bond our people with that. We want them to, so that they can realize how much it means to us, our old Christian heritage. We built that logo, and it looks very simple. And right now, as we talk, this logo will become a protected trademark symbol for everything that Croatia for Christ will do in the future. Nobody will be able to use that, and under that logo, we will try to put everything, all parts of our ministry together. There's one little secret about that logo. You have a lot of red colors, and you have a lot of blue colors. That red color and that blue color is from Texas flag. I decided to do that. So, first of all, let me present to you what we are doing. Mladen Jovanovic started everything with radio ministry, so we are continue to do that. We are broadcasting his messages. We have dear brother in Christ, Damir Kramaric, maybe you remember him, he was here, and he is the one who is changing Mladen's sermons into a 15 minutes messages. The radio is changing, so we have to change ourselves. And maybe from next year we will start with 3 minutes, 5 minutes messages, and maybe we will spread this even further with radio ministry. So I'm really happy to for that ministry that Mladen started. We have another minister. His name is Vladopshenko, and he was also trained by Mladen Jovanovic, and he has his own radio ministry, which is called the Valley of Blessings. He works in the far eastern part of Croatia. So we put those two ministries together, and now we call that Croatian Christian Broadcasting. We will try to build on those foundations. Next thing that we have, we are helping a lot in planting new churches in Croatia. There are 12 churches of Christ in Croatia so far. These pictures that you can see here are the city of Vukovar. The city of Vukovar is located on the eastern border, and that city was completely destroyed in that terrible war back in '91. City of Vukovar looks nice today. You can see the city is rebuilt. This is the Danube River. It lies on the Danube River. Real nice area, and a lot of good meat, a lot of good fish there. And sometimes it's easier to rebuild the whole city than to rebuild human souls. There are a lot of hatred going on there, and our minister who lives there, Vladopshenko, that's his picture, he just started the church in the city of Vukovar. So I would like you to remember him and that new church in your prayers, because he will need that. Croatia for Christ, as a state level ministry, is of course there. I'm there almost every month helping him. We will start to send teams of Let's Start Talking ministry to that city. We want to see how it'll work there. This is Vlado standing in front of the place that he rented. So the Vukovar Church of Christ has just been established. It's a new church, and if you ask me, this is the most important place, not only in Croatia, but in the whole area for the church. Because we have Roman Catholic Church and Serbian Orthodox Church. We have 70% of Croatians living in that city and 30% of Serbians living in that city. Those two sides are divided still today because of terrible war crimes that happened 25 years ago. Those two churches, on the other hand, are making things even worse. Because in my part of the world, religion or Christian faith goes with nationality. So if you are Croat, you have to be Roman Catholic. If you are Serbian, then you're Orthodox Eastern Christian. I believe that this church will be right there in the middle, and our prayers are that both nations will start to come and find their way to Christ. Another thing that we're doing is annual spring camps of Croatian Churches of Christ. You know, when you live in a 90% Catholic country, we are all very happy to see each other. And every spring we are meeting in one hotel in our beautiful Croatian coast. So those are pictures from April this year. On that gathering, we had a meeting. So those men here that you see are the members of the board, advisory board of Croatia for Christ. I am responsible to them, and I'm responsible to Bethel Church of Christ in Houston, because they oversee that ministry for over 30 years. So we have Tom Sibley, the Dean and Director of Bible Institute in Zagreb, Mladen Dominic, he's the minister in Varaždin, where I live.
Sibley.
Tino Jovanovic, Mladen Jovanovic's son, Ken Cornet from Houston, Vladopshenko, the guy that I've been telling you before from Vukovar, this is me, and Mislav Ilic, minister from Zagreb Church. Another thing that Croatia for Christ is doing, or we will try to do in the future, we will try to offer concert tours of American both choirs and orchestras in Croatia. Since I'm a professional musician, that's probably the easiest part of my ministry. In April, we had LCU choir visiting Croatia, and those pictures were taken in Catholic Church right there in downtown Zagreb. They had wonderful performance there, and we were successful in getting that church for free. We are very happy and proud for that. I also invited another choir from Zagreb, that's chamber choir Ivan Filipovic, and in the end of they were guests on our concert, and at the end of the concert, they were singing together, "God Bless You." And so it was really big testimony for this ministry and especially for Zagreb Church. Next day, the choir came to Varaždin, where I live, and we went to the school for special needs children, where my son goes to school. They gave a performance there, and this was something incredible. All those children here are, each and every child has some, problems. They were sitting for 20 minutes and listening to hymns, spiritual songs, and other things that the choir were performing. Along with us, we brought 200 copies of children's Bible, and we gave that to every child in that school. And that Bible, provided by Eastern European Mission in Vienna, became official Bible that they will use in religious class in that school. After that performance, we took the choir through the city of Varaždin, and they were spreading the flyers for evening concert. And in the evening, we had concert in Croatian National Theater in Varaždin. That building was built in 1873, which is not very old for you. That concert was pretty successful. Believe me, I know a little about performances and audience and concerts. And you have to have in mind that everybody knew that Croatia for Christ and Varaždin Church of Christ are behind that, which very often can, create negative feelings about going on that concert. Dr. Camp, which I'm going to meet this evening in shallow water near Lubbock, so please pray for me to get there. He did a wonderful job. He was introducing every song, and I was translating in Croatian. And if you see here on the right, we translated all the lyrics that they were singing. So while they were singing, I was doing the same thing what I'm doing here. The lyrics were there in Croatian language so that people can understand actually what they are singing about. And this concert was huge success to us. Next day, their last performance was in Kušlanova Church of Christ, that's in Zagreb, in downtown Zagreb. And of course, we ended the tour with a dinner. That's Dr. Camp, me, and Mislav Ilić, Zagreb Church of Christ minister. Another thing that we are doing, I couldn't resist myself not to do that. We are trying to spread as many Bibles as we can together with Eastern European Mission. It's much easier for them to do that when they have a ministry on the field. So we are the one who are trying to find a way how to do it, and they are providing Bibles for us. This is children's Bible that I've been telling you that we brought along with us to that school for special needs. And right now, when I got back to Croatia, we will try to put that Bible in every public school in northern Croatia from 1st to 4th grade. So please have that in your prayers. It will not be easy because I have to go to the Roman Catholic Church and get approval. We already tested that before we took those Bibles to that school for special needs children. we send that Bible to them, and they said that this is okay. So hopefully we will try to do that, even more by the end of the year. When you live in a country like where I live, Roman Catholic Church is everywhere. So they're trying to control every part of society, and they are very successful with that. We have a new Croatian, easy to read New Testament translation. Mladen Jovanovic was the main editor for that. And that translation will not be able to be spread around in printed form because they will not allow us that. They already told us. Because of theological reasons. They don't like people to read Bible in a new way, in a language that we are speaking today. We have old translation like King James Version, which is very often, you can't understand exactly what the Bible is saying, and they are approving only that translation. So we start to build the smartphone apps, both Apple and Android. Before I left from Croatia, I just signed a contract with a company. They will build those two apps, smartphone apps, with the Croatian easy to read New Testament. And with that, it'll be very hard to control because those apps will be in the App Store, and it'll be free. It'll stay free. We will not want to charge anything. So everybody will be able to download it and to read it. Old Testament right now is in the process of translation, and when that job will be done, we will just add that to that same app, and then we will have the whole new easy to read version of Croatian Bible. I want to tell you that we are the first who did that. In the Republic of Croatia, we have, for example, the Baptist Church is very strong. We have Pentecostal Church, very strong, but nobody did that. And they already are using our translation. So we are like pioneers here. So I'm really excited about those smartphone apps. Hopefully next time when I will visit, maybe I will be able to show you. Another thing that we are doing are annual summer camps. Every summer we are gathering together in one beautiful Croatian island in Dalmatia for a Christian fellowship. That boy over here, that's my son. And the boy next to him is Mladen Jovanovic's grandson. They are good friends. So, how does it look? It's 1 week on a beautiful island, as I already mentioned. Every evening we have messages. We have preacher there. This year we had Ben Langford from Edmond, Oklahoma, and he did a wonderful job. Next day, after lunch, we have small groups discussing the messages from previous evening. And we don't want people to go to sleep after lunch, during their vacation. So that's why we have those small groups. And the rest of the time is very easy. We're swimming in Croatian Sea. We have our Christian fellowship. It's not an ocean, it's a sea, Adriatic Sea. It's very warm. There are no strong currents. There are no sharks. And some of them are laughing here because they were there in the wrong time. Believe me, during July and August, it's really beautiful there. In the morning, we are gathering together in small groups for early morning prayer right there on the, close to the sea, which is really special. And those pictures are from Sunday worship service. Even other people from Baptist church, from Pentecostal churches who are spending their vacation on that island are joining us every Sunday morning in a prayer because this is the only opportunity for them to have worship service. So we are there and a lot of Catholic churches. Now you can choose. This year we had 2 baptisms. Young boy, 21, and a girl, 19, from Zagreb Church. We are really thankful and we are really blessed with them. And it's like a new fresh blood to Zagreb Church. I couldn't resist not to put that. Every year, last evening, we have something we call Fisherman Night. So that's my ministry, my job. We purchased 70 pounds of fresh fish right there from the fisherman's boat. And we paid $44 for that. Only Jesus can do better. Croatia for Christ are a strong promoter of Let's Start Talking ministry. So this is not what we're doing. This is not a part of our ministry, but it is in some way. So we are promoting Let's Start Talking very much in our country because it's working there. So each and every one of you who knows how to speak English, you are welcome to come. You are welcome to contact them, and you can come for a 2-week mission, a 2-week project or 6 weeks project. It depends what they will, sign up for you. So you can have a young boy as a reader, or you can have a lady as a reader. Those 2 girls are from York, Nebraska. They came this summer for 1 month. Let's Start Talking is not only working. In your free time, we will take good care of you. We will take you around to see. This is the most beautiful castle in Croatia from 13th century. I'm taking all our guests there. We call that castle ministry. Or we can take you to our national park, which is really beautiful. This is my son. He just learned how to swim, so when we came there, he was watching down the lake. He said, "Dad, if I fell in, you don't have to save me." The girls were thrilled. There's not such a place in Nebraska. So they were like,
it's pretty.
Look at the color of that lake. I mean, after 1 hour walking, the girls just stopped and they tell me, they were almost crying. They said, well, and then they are teaching us that there is no God. Look at that. It's beautiful. So Let's Start Talking ministry. Croatia for Christ is supporting Champs Camp. That's a Zagreb Church outreach. Some of you were there, even this summer. So they had 2 Champs Camps. They say this. Here is Adonis. Russell is here hiding. They were helping the Champs Camp. I'm sure that you can ask them about that. They will share with you whatever they experienced there. And those pictures are from the 2nd Champs Camp. It's very important ministry of Zagreb Church. So Croatia for Christ ministry is state-level ministry. We're trying to be service of every church that we have. Another thing that we started this year is Family Magazine. Family Magazine is a quarterly magazine that we are publishing, and we are mailing that to our radio listeners and other people who come for a visit in Croatian churches. Almost every Croatian church is part of that. So we are really happy to have that, and we believe that this will be something like Croatian Christian Chronicle. It's really very good work. The person behind it is this beautiful young lady. She's a Varaždin Church of Christ secretary, where I live, and she's Croatia for Christ secretary. Her name is Miss Matea Stolnik, and yes, she's not married. So, she's the main editor of this magazine. 90% of that magazine is her work, and we are really blessed with her and with her work. This is something personal. I just started online master's degree program with ACU in Zagreb. In Zagreb we have Bible Institute, and Bible Institute just became approved site for online classes for ACU. We have intensive classes for a week, 1 week in every semester. So the professor is coming from ACU, and giving us those classes. So please remember me in your prayers, because this is something really new for me. Although I'm very excited to be part of that program. Okay, we don't have much time, so I just want to show you one more time. Croatia for Christ is radio ministry. We are main organizer of annual spring camps. We are the main organizer for Christian concerts of American choirs and orchestras. We are spreading Bibles. We are building smartphone apps. We are organizing our annual summer camps. We are a strong supporter of Champs camps, so the youth work. We are publishing Family magazine. Please have that church in your mind, in your prayers. Vukovar Church of Christ is very important work that's being done right now. And we are strong promoters of Let's Start Talking ministry. So this is what Croatia for Christ is, and this is what we are going to continue to do. Here are some plans for the future. So future projects of Croatia for Christ. This is a vision, sometimes a long-term vision. We will try to establish cable TV ministry. So we will build on our radio ministry foundation and move that to video. Then we would like to have our own campsite in the Adriatic coast sometime in the future. The whole Central Europe is spending their vacations on our coast anyway. So we would like to have something there so that we can offer for cheap price, their summer vacation with Christian messages and fellowship. We will do those concert tours in Croatia for the American choirs and orchestra from those universities, because every university has its own choir. We will print Bibles for people who have trouble seeing. We already done that before, I think 17 years, and now we have to do it again, because people told me that there's nothing when they can read with their fingers. We have audio Bibles, but they told me that it's not the same thing when you're listening or when you open those books and just read with your fingers. I trust them. Of course, we will continue to print Bibles and publish books. It's very good to have something like this, because we are reading books in English, and then we can find out which book will be the best for Croatia, for that area, and then we are sending our requests to EEM Vienna, and then they are doing translation. One book is already being translated, and hopefully by the end of the year we will publish it. It's called Answers to the Questions That Catholics Are Asking. And we have to build Croatia for Christ smartphone app, which will put everything under one umbrella. So we want to, stay in line with the 21st century that we're living in. Everybody has a smartphone in Croatia, and everybody's using tablets and that kind of stuff. So there's one very important thing. We started our web page. So it's www.croatiaforchrist.com. That page is online, but it's still not working. This is my first priority when I got home, to finish that. And it'll work automatically in English and in Croatian. So basically, that's everything that I had for this morning. I just want to tell you one thing. I believe this church sent their first missionary to Croatia 40-something years ago. So with your support and with your faithful service, today we have 12 churches of Christ in Croatia. Because of this church, we can build New Testament Christianity in our country, which is very often, believe me, very hard. So I want to thank you, and I want to, understand that how grateful we are for your support and for everything that you've done in the last 43, 4, 5 years. Nobody's counting that anymore. So thank you very much. Thank you for your patience, and yes, God bless. If you have any questions,